I'm still gonna record it. So how's everyone doing? How are you, Twitch? Whoa, Twitch. Oh, my bad, bro. I meant to say, how are you, YouTube? I'm streaming right now on Kick, and honestly, I'm looking for a deal with Kick. With Twitch, I don't know, man. Like, I really like Twitch, but I haven't had fun with the platform itself. But I will say that Kick is slightly better. At least I am a little bit. I get the sense that I'm a little bit more free, if that makes sense. Now, I don't want to gamble, but I understand that Kick is well known for individuals who gambled, so don't put me in that category. I'm gonna react to Bugatti's new video, like advertisement. I believe that's what it's called, advertisement. So let me know if you guys have an opinion about it. And it's called a new era. And I already see so much potential. Oh Lord, Bugatti. Wait, if I dude, this is so dumb. I'm gonna do some research real quick. So Bugatti is based from where? Where is Bugatti based? France. Well, I don't speak French. 2007 Bugatti Veyron sells for a world record 2 million at Goodwood auction. Bugatti needs a new home as the tourbillon outgrows its existing workplace. Wow. Bugatti was founded in the year 1909. Tory Bugattis. I don't know how the French say it, but Bugattis. The founder of this company became a re-owned race car company, as well as I believe this is what I've seen. People from other countries they actually like creating like sports cars. In America, everyone knows Ford. Everyone knows about the Ford GT. I would hope everyone knows about the Ford GT, but we're not well known for like creating race cars. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just saying. Got it. 4 billion. Episode 9. What is this? Oh, like a new headquarters.
When you develop a car, you can never look at a single component individually without taking the whole context of the car into account. In this case, there's so much architecture and packaging, as we call it in the car industry, that you don't see immediately.
The muffler. Literally the same size like the man standing next to it.
Here, but I'll explain it to you. So the
That is
W16
crazy.
is a very short engine for its size, but quite wide. And the layout
Wait, go back.
is short and
So the starter. I mean, the starter looks very normal. I see a lot of. Well, I don't see a lot of like things going on the starter. The engine actually looks pretty basic. You got the. It's very compact though. Oh, and it's a V engine. Okay. I'm not an engineer. I don't work for Bugatti. I'm not really sure what the certain pieces of the engines are, but I know there's a lot going on in the transmission. Look at that. I'm not sure what these plugs are. Amazing.
engine for its size, but quite wide. And the layout used to be in a way that the gearbox was in front of the engine. Now it's behind the engine. And then that gearbox was feeding the power or torque to the front axle.
Wait,
That
what?
gear
That's interesting. Oh yeah, I always forget. Supercars have engines in the back, usually in the middle. That's very interesting. Yeah.
Box was feeding the power or torque to the front axle, but also to the rear axle. So the prop shaft for the rear axle went through the engine block to the rear differential. So it was a very wicked layout. We don't actually have that connection now. The rear axle is completely separate from the front axle, and the front axle is two electric motors. There's no physical, no mechanical connection between the engine and the front wheels. But in between now we have a battery, and the gearbox moved from the front to the rear. It also enabled a different aerodynamics of the car, because now we have a narrower engine, which is also tilted in the car. It's actually not straight like here, it's at an angle, to enable a very interesting diffuser, which is double the length of a Chiron diffuser. And that's actually very beneficial, because you want downforce from underneath the car, from the body, instead of wings on top of the car, because it comes with less drag penalty.
Whoa. Okay, maybe they just wanted to use that picture of a falcon. So you're so the concept became, or it's based on a falcon when a falcon is diving. Because I know that they're pretty fast. When a falcon is diving from the sky to catch its prey, another bird, the shape becomes very sharp in the back. So they had to basically do that, and there was a little gap in at the bottom.
So you get more downforce for less drag. And in this case, we have super long Venturi tunnels left and right of the engine, because the engine is now narrower, and with the angle of the engine and with a lot of trickery that we did also with the rear crest structure and the suspension, which is now exposed in the airflow. So the suspension is also shaped like an airfoil, like a wing basically, because it's in the airflow. The air flows left and right next to the engine, so it was very
Nice.
important to keep it narrow.
That's a great picture
People
right
sometimes
there.
forget that
Whoever
total
took that
aerodynamic
picture,
resistance of a car
amazing.
is the CD times the frontal area. So it's very important. Resistance of a car is the CD.
So look at the Bugatti on the left side. It looks wide awake. The Bugatti on the right side, it looks very dimmed, if that makes sense. It's like questioning. Bugatti on the left is more like I said, it looks very active. Like the emotion of the Bugatti is very happy emotion, if that makes sense. Then the Bugatti on the right side looks more on the serious emotion. And there's like a little window wiper in the middle. Huh.
D
Amazing.
times the frontal area. So it's very important to reduce the frontal area, especially for a car that goes the speeds that we do. As you know, we are about breaking speed records, and the Tourbillon is faster than the Chiron. By reducing the frontal area, by bringing the passengers closer together, by having a narrower tunnel, by having the gearbox behind the engine, it all works together as one. We wanted to show that even this naked form, without the bodywork, it's a Bugatti horseshoe, and this horseshoe does a lot of things. We have the medium temperature cooling systems here, so the air is flowing here to cool the front electric axle and the battery and the brake system. And then here comes the luggage compartment, and left and right is the cooling for the combustion engine. So when the air goes up, the car goes down. That's usually how downforce works. So in the Chiron, the air would go in here, and because of the luggage compartment, it would go underneath the car. You don't really want air to be going underneath the car from here. So instead now we have the air going up through these radiators and exit in the bonnet. The electric motors are in front of the axle because basically the feet of the passenger and the driver of the car are coming all the way until here. So you are very close with your feet. You can't have the motors, they would be in the foot space of the passengers of the car. And then you see here is kind of a hole between the gearbox and the inverter. Why? Because this is where the steering rack goes. And then in front of the two inverters, which is also a very integrated dual inverter, so it's basically one box with two inverters for two motors. We have the luggage space, which is now completely different, and now we have a very deep but narrower luggage space. What we did with the Tourbillon was having a very narrow powertrain that's on top of that angled, so that we can channel the air left and right from the powertrain. And actually, because of that, it goes through the suspension, and you can see that here in this wing-shaped 3D printed suspension arm, and then it goes up until the end of the diffuser and then goes away, and then actually even the exhaust pipe, which is not here now, is separating the airflow from the diffuser and the turbulent air behind the car. And it's all a big interplay of different systems. On one side, the powertrain layout, which enables the whole architecture to make it work like this. But also, for example, in a normal car, what you would see here in the back now would be a big metal crash beam, like thick like this and going from left to right all the way across the car. And we don't have that because our diffuser is actually the crash structure. So this is the diffuser cone. You can see the shape of the diffuser, but it's at the same time absorbing the crash energy. So two of these 3D printed metal structures, which have this tiny intricate little metal structures inside, which are there to absorb the energy, enable it to start with the diffuser so tall. Now when the car would be on the floor, this would be at knee height. So this is the terminal height of the diffuser. And with the diffuser, you have to go in very gentle angles. You basically have to stay at around 11 degrees. And that means you can't go very aggressive, because otherwise the airflow would separate from the diffuser and the diffuser wouldn't work anymore. So if you start that high, it means the diffuser needs to be really long. And in the case of the Tourbillon, the diffuser starts in the middle of the car, basically underneath the passengers. So half of the car's length is the rear diffuser, which is perfection for an aerodynamicist. That's what they want to do. But that means then that the suspension, because of that, is in the airflow. And traditionally, you wouldn't be able to make a suspension arm that's aerodynamic because it has to be very strong to sustain the forces that it needs to do. But then comes another thing that we did for the first time in the Tourbillon, 3D printed suspension. So we
Spaced out with descriptions. I don't know, but like, I'm just admiring the car. I'm just like stunned. So much technology in this one device. Device, well, it is kind of like a device because it has a battery, but whatever. I'm not gonna try to press anyone who's watching this to believe that it is a device, but let's change it up to a machine. This machine, peak performance, amazing. It's just amazing.
see it here much more prominent in the upper wishbone, in this organic, topologically optimized shape. It basically means that software and AI is optimizing the shape of the part in order to cope with the forces that it needs to encounter during acceleration, braking, cornering, or speed bumps. And you take atom by atom away to just leave the structure where it's absolutely needed to cope with those forces, plus of course some buffer on top of that to encounter also some unpredicted situations. And that enables also the design of a wing-shaped suspension arm. You can see the difference between the upper arm and lower arm, because this one is not in the airflow, this one is. But inside of this shape, there is again microstructures that enable this kind of shape to be strong enough but still aerodynamic. So it all works together: the narrow powertrain, the integrated crash structure, 3D printed suspension. It's not just about individual components, it's about how you bring that together to have a benefit.
3D printed suspension. Wait, hold up. And then suspension. So what does that mean then? Is what material? Yes. What material is this? What material are they using for the print suspension? The vehicle's low weight is further achieved through 3D printing. Exploring this innovative, damn, innovative technology creates light as possible suspension. But what's the material though? Oh, it's aluminum. By opting for a new organic designed suspension arm and upright 3D printed in aluminum via DAPS, Bugatti Rimac engineers have saved 45% in suspension weight compared. So does that mean that it's hollow in the middle?
Huh. Fit to the overall car in terms of weight, packaging space, aerodynamic efficiency, downforce, performance, and we all bring that together in this car because we thought about all of these bold things together at the beginning of the development of the car.
Carbon fiber frame, it's pretty cool. The journey will continue. W Bugatti. So peaceful. That guy is a salesman. Oh, he's good.